Hi everyone, my name is Abundant Lei, and I am so excited that you will join me today on this sensational Sunday for our collective energy read. Yay! So I actually decided to do something different, and I grabbed a randomizer to pull the cards today. And so I just numbered all of my decks, and so today we're going to be using the Heart's Hidden Secrets as our energy, our 3-card energy, and then we're going to do the What's the Tea as our extra advice or what to look out for type of energy additional from source. Okay, I'm going to grab my protection mist. I know you guys already know you can get this from Jalissa Messages on YouTube. She is one of my favorite readers, and I love this stuff. It smells amazing, and I always like to give her her credit and her props for that. So there we go. Put that on my hands. Clear my space out. All right, let's see. I have my sage burning over here. I've already cleared the energy, and let's get started. Oh, also, if you hear any sounds, my kids are here. Obviously, it's the weekend, and my puppy Pawpaw is he's now laying in his bed, so he might be chilling for that time. If somebody walks past the window, he might get up. We're gonna pray that he does not, but he might. He likes to get up and go and see who's in the window, and then he might bark at them to let them know that he doesn't want them walking past our house. Okay. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. I actually am just coming off of some type of sinus infection. It was not fun, but I feel amazing now. So still a little cough, and that's normal for me because I have asthma. I had asthma my entire life. So I'm used to, after some type of respiratory anything, having a little lingering cough. I am doing like honey tea and like I have some like what is it elderberry like cough it's like elderberry cough drops. I don't typically try to do medicine other than like maybe cough drops, because obviously they just kind of help with the symptoms. They don't really cure anything. Your body just has to heal. So I just like to let my body heal and do its thing. But I've kind of heard that if there's, actually I was talking to my sister, and she said, sorry, something's trying to fall, so I'm gonna just let it fall. She said there was like a spring of Covida going around, and I was like, ooh, no, I hope it wasn't that, but yeah. Oh, another 2 cards came out. Okay, so I'll let those be there, but I'm going to actually pull today. So 1, 2, and 3. Bottom of the deck, we got heart fog. So mixed signals, blocked emotions, messed up. Okay, so collective, are you feeling a little blocked in your heart chakra? You might need to do some meditation to kind of help you alleviate those feelings, if that is what you're feeling at this time. Let's see what's over there. Oh, so it's around some type of distance or separation. We have distance under there, and it's got you feeling conflicted because that's the card under there. So there's some type of distance between you and someone else. Could be a family member, could be a friend. Doesn't have to be romantic. Could be romantic though, but it's causing you to feel a little bit of a little bit blocked in your heart space. So I definitely recommend, if you can, maybe do some chakra balancing energies. You can get some of that on YouTube and just kind of watch one of those videos and just let that energy channel through. It should help clear up some of that. Okay, I'm gonna move those out of the way. I'm gonna put our 3 cards here, and then I'll put those underneath afterwards. But we did get 3 cards shoot out. I always like to try to make sure that you guys can actually see the cards. Okay, perfect. All right, our first card, we have time. So waiting, cycles, moments. Oh, this goes great with heart fog. So right now, it's a time thing, okay? And the thing about time is it's something that humans created. The universe doesn't revolve in the same limits and expectations that we have around time, right? Time is a human created thing. So we put time there to kind of help us understand and move through the constant changings. Life changes. There's continuous cycles, right? So we have put things there like time, like calendars, like other things like that to help us better move through the changes. And because as our human selves need a little bit more of structural things to follow, right? Obviously, in the old times, we didn't have things like watches and things. There was ways to tell time, though, because humans have always done that, right? We find our way. We've advanced over time, become more structural. Now we have clocks and things like that that tell us time so we can kind of monitor and think. But I think that there might be some blocked emotions around a sense of time. It might just be that you're in some type of cycle. It's just something that's momentary, right? It's not something that's going to last long, but at this current time, this is where you are. That's okay. Okay? I want you to know it's okay. Let yourself have that moment, because if you don't allow yourself when you feel off to recognize, hey, this doesn't feel like my norm, and to actually just kind of sit in it and kind of help yourself understand. And when we say sit in it, because I'm kind of seeing it in my head of like, I don't want you to dive into the unknown, because I'm seeing the scene in Frozen 2 where Elsa goes and follows the voice, and she goes too deep, too deep, too deep, and then she freezes herself. Okay? She gets so deep in the emotions that she can't get out. Okay? And then it takes her sister to free her from there. Okay? So I don't want that. I don't want you going so deep that you get trapped, right? Because what's happened in the past has already happened. What's happening in the future, we don't know yet. We only have the present. So this is why I'm saying whatever is happening in the present, allow it to happen in the present, but don't take it with you into the future, and don't go trying to find it in the past. Stay present. Okay? That will help you clear the heart fog. Okay? Distance sometimes, because like I said, distance was the card underneath heart fog. Sometimes distance can make the heart wander, is what we say, right? Meaning when we're away from someone, it kind of pulls at our heartstrings. I think for this time, in this moment, if your heartstrings are being pulled by some distance that you're dealing with that's got you a little bit conflicted, that's okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, don't try to go back into the past and see what you could have changed. Don't focus on don't take that same pain into the future. Understand what you're feeling. Give yourself grace for feeling it. And then find new ways to transmute that energy. Transform that energy, okay? I'm a Scorpio. And one of the things that I love about being a Scorpio is that Scorpios live in the black and white. It is or it isn't. There is no middle ground. There is no in between. And I get it. Other zodiac signs, especially our mutable ones, excuse me, that's not how they live. They live in that middle ground. They like to be in the I don't know energy. I'm a Scorpio. It either is or it isn't. I either like you or I don't. I either want to do it or I don't want to do it. It's really that simple. And the more you understand who you are by looking at your natal chart and just understanding the different characteristics of yourself, the easier it is to kind of work with yourself and give yourself patience and grace and understanding. And then you're able to transmute things that are heavy for you into more positive energy. It's the same way of, hey, I think about this person. Well, every time I think about this person, maybe instead of getting sad and lonely and upset about it, I take that time to say, this person meant something to me, something that was very valuable to me. What lessons did I take from that relationship? But more positive thing, okay, I'm thinking about this person. How can I use that energy of feeling that I have for this person to motivate myself to do something else? Maybe I write a love letter to myself to tell myself how much I love myself. And maybe I'll take some time and go into the bathroom and look in the mirror and do some I am affirmations. Or it doesn't have to necessarily be I am affirmations, but just finding ways to use that energy and associate it with something positive. See, this is the thing about time. Time works in cycles. History likes to repeat itself, meaning things that we've done in the past like to come back, excuse me, in the present to show us that we can change and manipulate that same feeling, and it can either take us down the road or it can take us up the hill, right? If you're going up the hill, sometimes it's a little bit more strenuous than when you're going down the hill, right? But the same road. Sometimes you have to go up that hill, but then you get to slide down that other side, right? So sometimes the thing that's kind of the heaviest to walk up is the thing that's challenging you to do better, to open you up to more opportunities. So find ways where cycles, things you're noticing that seem like something you've done before, what is it trying to teach you? Or where is it showing you an area that you need to let go of? Remember, people also come to us in cycles, and they're here to show us and remind us of where we're struggling within ourselves to release something. Okay? Second card. Yeah, foundation. See? So where is that? It says established family and security. See, this is definitely, there's some heart fog around some type of foundation that you're trying to build. And maybe you're worried that you won't have time. I'm telling you that is not real. You will never run out of time. Time is something that does not ever run out. And I know people are like, okay, well, what about if you pass away? That's a different thing. Time didn't stop because you stopped existing. Your physical body stopped existing. Your spirit lives on forever. So instead of focusing on you're running out of time, what can you do now with the time that you have to build those stable foundations that will live beyond your existence? Why do you think we use the word foundations when people build things that they pass down to their children? They fund their foundations, right? They create some type of legacy. That's the same energy because they understand how precious their time is. If you start to understand how precious your time is, it changes the things that tug on your heart because you realize there's things that are more important than the things that you worried about today. What you worry about today, you might not even think about tomorrow. And it's the truth. It's just in your view right now. Back to time, right? It's just something you're dealing with now. That's why it's important to recognize what you're feeling in the moment, because it's in the present moment, and then find a way to transmute it so that it doesn't carry on into the next moment and the next moment and the next moment. How do we release it? And even more, how do we plant its seed and water it and then allow it to sprout new, right? Maybe the first time we planted it, we didn't water it enough. Or maybe, it didn't get enough sunlight. Maybe we didn't plant it in the right type of soil. Maybe we didn't put it in the right environment for it to thrive, right? Now, when we're building that foundation, we've actually studied the seed before we planted it. We took the lessons from what we learned the first time, and we actually were like, okay, this is what I learned the first time. These were the observations I made. I took notes on what was unsuccessful. How many days maybe it sprouted and it looked successful, and then it just, after 10 days, it went sour. What went wrong? What was different? What can I change? What can I control? Maybe I needed to start it out in a pot. Let it flourish in the pot. Then once the roots are strong enough, now I can uproot it and put it into the ground. Now, because I established the foundation in a safer environment where it was prevented from things attacking it and hurting it, now it's flourishing because I put it in an environment where I could control some of the aspects of it. I could watch and pay attention to things. I could make sure that things like it wasn't missing water or sunlight because I was able to, it was in front of my mind is what I'm trying to say. It's making me think of the saying like out of sight, out of mind, right? So when you don't see something every day, you forget about it, right? Making yourself more present in someone's life even, right? The less this person interacts with you, the less they need you. That's what they'll start to realize. And I think sometimes people try to manipulate that, especially in relationships, because there's so many people out here who have this type of energy. They have this heart fog energy around them because of some type of conflicting distance that they've experienced in the past. some type of like abandonment issues, or just feeling unheard, whatever the issues may have been that they had in the past. It's kept a little tick onto their body. It burned down deep into them, and they've been carrying it around for years, not realizing it was giving them Lyme disease. And so now they're sick as ever, and they're like, where did this come from? Your spirit is sick because you've been carrying around things that were draining you of your vital life force. You get a chance now. The cycle has come back around, and you get to plant better foundations now. You get to set higher standards. And guess what? Even if the same people come around, you're not the same anymore. So you should know that because you're not the same anymore, they can't be the same anymore. So if they come back and the energy has not transformed the way you have transformed, they don't have a place to be in your new foundation. And I actually absolutely love that this is a parent and a child. And even if that's a grandfather and a grandchild, the dynamic, someone who believes in what you're doing, who believes in you, and you're taking them. Look at where they are. They're on the train tracks. That is not safe. Okay? But that child they are not worried about how unsafe the train tracks are, because they know that nothing will happen to them because someone is with them that's safe. I kind of get it like the footsteps in the sand thing. If you've never heard that, just look it up. It's like footprints in the sand, and it's about walking with God. How at first you see two sets of footprints, and then you see just one set of footprints, and the person is like, God, why did you leave me in that time? And God was like, what do you mean leave you? I was carrying you at that time. That's why there's only one set of footprints. You couldn't walk anymore, so I carried you. And that's that same energy I'm getting here. When this child can't walk any longer, this person will pick them up and carry them the rest of the way. So whatever you're building now, just know that when you feel tired and weary, because collective, I 100% feel you are this person here. And you know what? It could even be this is your inner child. And this is you now as an adult. Your inner child needed adults when it was younger to depend on. Now you get to be that adult to your inner child. And when your inner child is like, I don't want to do it anymore, Grandpa. I don't know why that popped in my head, but that just felt so fitting for now. But when that inner child feels like, I don't want to do it anymore, you're there to pick them up now. So it doesn't matter who came before you and didn't set the foundations right. You're the adult now. You're not the child anymore. You're the adult now. But that inner child within you never dies. So that little child that's in you, you get to now be the adult that they can lean on. And when that part of you feels burnt out and tired, the adult part of you is like, don't worry, I got you. You can get on my back. And I'm going to ride you off into the sunset, and we're going to have a good time walking for the rest of the route. Okay? And it's you. It's you now who gets to not only be the child that's dreams are coming true, that feels safe holding their hand, even through the treacherous roads. You'll know that you got your back. Okay? Didn't I just talk about footprints in the sand? Escaping, avoiding, blocking, pushing away. So there may be an aspect where there's this need to escape, right? As I said before, because I just talked about the footprints in the sand, I don't feel like you're alone. Even though you may feel like you're alone, I feel like this is that, right? Because when you're walking with the inner child is actually within you, right? It's not truthfully separate from you. It's within you. It's you experiencing that part of you that sometimes is resistant, especially if your inner child didn't get the support it needed when it was younger. So now as an adult, sometimes it acts out. That's you still in that same energy. You just have to remember, when you're tired and weary, it is you now carrying you. Right? And it's also, if you believe in God, which I do, It's God carrying you. You're never truly alone. You just see the one set of footprints, but you're never truly alone. So maybe there's a part of you that feels like as you're going forward, it's almost like you're escaping from time and from the foundations you set. But truthfully, you're not escaping. It's just you're looking at it the wrong way. You're looking at it the wrong way. You're not seeing it for what it is. And that's okay. Like I said, there's something about distance and just a little bit of conflicted energy here. Like you're just a bit confused about things. And I think that that's what's causing you to feel like maybe you need to escape away from stuff. But I promise you, you don't. You don't really need to escape things as much as you need to just know that what you're creating solid, and anything that you move away from, like by choice, you're moving into the next phase. So you don't have to look at it in a negative aspect, right? But you don't want to do it in this way. You don't want to avoid and block and push away. You more just want to say when it's time to move on, you just move on to the next thing, okay? And that's okay. So you're establishing things. Once you feel like something, and honestly, that is the best way to do it, right? I talked about in the beginning how I'm a Scorpio, so it is or it isn't, right? So when you're passionate and driven by it, right? That's when you want to be the most motivated to do the work that needs to be done. But once you've got something kind of like pretty much solid, you have a routine, it's set, you know exactly what you're doing, you show up all the time for it. Now that it's kind of got that rotation, by human nature, once something is stable, we start to look for we look for more, because things that become monotonous start to get boring, right? So now you get to a point where you want to escape, right? You want to avoid it. You want to like, oh, this is not boring. I don't like it anymore. Ugh, gross. Instead, I want you to change the way you're seeing that. You're not necessarily escaping it, meaning you're not trying to avoid it or block it or push it away. It's that you've made it stable. You trust that it's good. Now we need to refocus that energy on something else. Or if it's the same thing, now we're going to look for where's ways that we can make it more efficient. Where's ways that we can make it more fun. Where's ways so we can enhance what we're doing and make it more enjoyable for ourselves. So we continue to show up. So we don't lose that momentum and we don't lose the focus and we don't get started and stop. No, we're going to keep going no matter what. No matter what's happening, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep showing up. Okay. Here's our cards that shot out. So the first one that came out was finality, farewells, leave behind, and closure, with escaping being there. I think there was some type of ending. There was some type of ending that has occurred, and that ending is what's caused you to feel this heart fog. I don't feel like it's a bad thing though. Like none of the cards that I'm seeing here are making me feel like this is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. Instead, it's kind of like I feel like there's change happening. And so the change is making you look at things differently. But it's also causing you to feel like a pull. It's like you feel like your heart's being pulled in two different directions. And you're like, but which one's the right one? They're both the right one. Who says just because you go down route A today, you can't go down route B tomorrow? I think that's something, again, with time. As humans, we have convinced ourselves that there are these rules and these guidelines and that we live inside of a box and we can't do anything outside of that box. That is wrong. That is just our limitation on our thinking. And as you start to evolve and you start to read more and you start to challenge your thinking, you realize, how can I say I'm a child of a creator that can create anything in this world? And then knowing I am a child of this same creator, will tell myself that I cannot create more than what is this box. How do I truly believe I am the Creator's child? And I think that way. So I am saying, you know that if your father can do something, then you can do it too. If your mother can do something, then you can do it too. Why can you do it? Because most times it's either something you inherited from them and they inherited from someone, or it's something that they can teach. And if they don't teach it to you, you can still learn it. And you probably have a higher chance of learning it faster than other people because someone you know did it, which means you had a chance to watch it. You may have not been able to grasp it completely, but you were able to at least notice and recognize things. And the thing about the brain is that the brain remembers, and it remembers a lot. And it remembers so much that we don't even utilize as much of the brain as we possibly could. There's so many untapped parts of our brain because we just don't use the brain as much as we can in ways that actually allow the brain to stimulate energy moving all over at the same time. So I am telling you, you're going to be able to do that. Whatever has ended, right? Whatever you left behind for a reason, for a good reason at that. It's because the cycle of that thing had come to its end. It was at its final resting point so that you can move on and build better foundations, okay? Our second card that came out was distracted, sidetracked, change, delays. And that one falls under foundation. So maybe that's where that power struggle in the building of your foundation came from. Maybe you were distracted by things. And it's going to make me bring it back. Things that you brought from the past into the present. You allowed things from the past to come into the present, and they distracted you from what you ultimately truly want for yourself. So because you're so focused on these other things, how could you focus on the important things like building your healthy foundation for yourself? Because the foundation you're building is for you. Remember, the two people there, like I said, it could be a small child, it could be an adult. But I personally see it as your inner child and you as the adult now, creator, character. You're teaching your inner child how to live again. And you're living through the experiences of your inner child. Think of what your inner child is like. What were you like as a child? What did you enjoy doing as a child? Obviously, some of those things you may not like doing anymore, right? But there's certain aspects of childhood that never should leave us. The joys of childhood is not something that you just get rid of just because you became an adult now. So where have you done that? Where have you allowed yourself to feel like, oh no, I'm an adult now and I can't have A, B, C, D, and E? I want you to challenge yourself to say, not me anymore. I won't allow myself to think like that anymore. I won't tell myself things like that anymore. Okay? And our final card, hopeless, sinking, despair, falling apart. And that's under escaping. So remember when I was saying about you're not really running away from it? I think that there's just a part of you because this heart fog has you ignoring what you feel. This is why I think it's so important, because you have to look at what's in the center of the reading, which is foundation. What you're wanting to build, you won't be able to build until you allow yourself to feel, because through your feeling, you'll know what you actually need. Your feelings tell you a yes or a no. Yes, I like this. No, I don't. Oh, not that one, but I really want that one. You have to feel it. So I need you to allow yourself to feel, and it's going to make all those other energies where you feel like you're running away or you're distracted and you're hopeless and things just, all of that's going to fade away because you won't feel that anymore. You won't feel that energy of you can't do it. It won't happen for you. All of that will dissipate, and it will easily and effortlessly dissipate out of your mind, out of your energy, out of the people that you're attracting to yourself. none of that will exist anymore, okay? It's all going to dissipate because the foundation that you're actually building around who you are, around your inner child, around who you become as an adult, all of that's going to change, okay? All right, let's get our final card. Oh, I'm going to have to shuffle this deck the other way. It's starting to bend again. Oh, no. All right, final card. Okay, so I don't always do the bottom of the deck, but I actually like the bottom of the deck today. So the bottom of the deck is hustling, making it rain, focused on money and getting it. I think you might want to find ways that you can go and do creative things that bring you abundance. That's going to just help you. And when I say it, I don't mean your typical 9 to 5. I want you to look outside of that box. This is what I mean. Outside of that box that you've limited yourself in, find creative ways, things that you love to do that is something others like to do too. Okay? And it's something that you personally, it's one of your skill sets. Whatever that is, I want you to find it. I want you to find it. I want you to use it. And I want you to allow yourself to make money doing it. Once you see that you can, it changes the way you think about it. I think by you seeing that you doing the things you love can make you money is going to open up your emotions. I think money is not money is blocking your emotions. I think if there's a lack of financial support right now, that is what's causing the heart fog. Okay, that's what's that's what's kind of blocking. And I think by setting these foundations up around yourself, where you start to see that you attract wealth to you by just doing the things you like to do, by doing the things that you want to do, by any of those things that you're doing, it's going to help you feel more confident, more supported, more secure in who you are and what you're doing. No. I need to. And I will do it in a second. I'm doing a reading. Hurts really badly, please. So you will need to do any of the things that you enjoy doing and make that a priority. And when you do that, it will benefit you in an amazing way. Okay? So once you start to do that, it's going to help a lot. The card we actually pulled, creeping. Somebody's watching you. Or are you watching somebody, collective? Somebody is definitely trying to see what you're up to, what you've been doing, who you've been doing. I don't feel like anyone in particular is going out. And you know what, honestly, looking at the energies here, collective, it might be that maybe you're establishing some healthier foundations and you've kind of moved away from people. Because like I told you with escape, I didn't feel like escaping was negative. I feel like it was more of like a moving away, because it tied into the card that to the footprints in the sand thing. So I do feel like it was more connected to that than anything else. This could be that there's two different energies here. So you could be more focused on hustling and just doing things for yourself. And this other person could be creeping and kind of more in this other energy. And that's okay if they are. When you get to a different, once you keep focusing on the things that you're doing, you keep healing your inner child, you keep focusing on that, let this person creep. And if it's you creeping, it's okay to creep. Right? Just make sure that if you're creeping on someone who's healing themselves, who's working through and is understanding the cycles and is changing their life, just continue to be on the outside looking in until you have done the deep healing that you need to feel your feelings. Don't try to bring someone into your energy when you're not ready. It really won't help you. It won't help them. And I'm not a person that's against people supporting other people when they're in things, but I am someone who feels that relationships are very precious. They're very sacred. And we don't take good care of the relationships we have when we're not in our best selves. We don't take care of ourselves. How are we going to take care of someone else? Because how you do one thing is how you do all things. So if you neglect your own feelings, you neglect your own emotions, if you just don't take care of those things and you don't prioritize what's important to you, you will also not prioritize what's important to the people you care about, and you'll neglect those things. You have to set healthy boundaries. And when you're building those foundations, that is you setting those healthy boundaries. And it's okay to tell other people no when you're doing important things. And don't feel bad about that. People sometimes don't have healthy boundaries. They really don't. And so because they don't have healthy boundaries for themselves, they don't respect the healthy boundaries you have for yourself. I got a confirmation on my phone, okay? You have to be the one that sets those healthy boundaries for yourself. You have to be the one that says, this is important to me. This is something I value. And when I'm doing this thing, this is important to me now. What is important to someone else is important to them. And that's okay. We want it to be important to them. But we also want them to understand that what's important to me is important to me. What's important to you is important to you. If I'm doing something, I'm doing what's important to me. And I have to value that. That's how you create healthy relationships. We don't do that when we're not taking good care of ourselves. And that's what I want you guys to remember. You have to take care of you. You have to take care of you. How you say yes to your inner child is by you putting your inner child first. You satisfying your needs first, and then you can satisfy the needs of others. Okay? All right, collective. I love you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I love reading the comments. You guys know that makes me feel so happy. And thank you for coming to my channel as always. Mwah. Be blessed and be a blessing. Bye.